Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Discover App Stack for Java on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. My name is Nikki Chen. I'm a marketing event manager for the developer initiative here at Oracle. Today, we'll show you how to revolutionize your Java application deployment. Also, just a quick note, we'll be sending session recording to the same email address used for today's event. If you have any questions during the webinar, please drop them in the Zoom chat or in the Q&A area, and we'll be ready to answer them. We've also set up a Slack channel, Cloud Coaching North America, in our developer workspace that you can access at the QR code or at the link on the screen. This channel will remain open after the event for you to contact us directly whenever you have questions. Today's webinar will be presented by Sasanka Abehin, a senior cloud engineer, and Allison Visconti, a co-innovate program manager. Without further ado, I'll pass it to Sasanka.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sasanka Abehin. Today, we'll be doing a cloud coaching session, discover app stack for Java on cloud infrastructure. First of all, I will go through the overview of Oracle application stack for Java, and then why we are using the container instances for that. And also I'll go with the architecture review. Also, I will show a demo on how you can deploy a simple Spring Boot application using Oracle App Stack for Java. After that, Alison is going to present our Code Innovate program. Finally, we can have a Q&A session. So let's move into the Oracle App Stack for Java overview. So App Stack for Java is a customizable Terraform script designed to automate the deployment of Java application in a serverless infrastructure. This stack helps you to deploy Java application to container instances, creating a production-ready environment. So this current version that only support Java application only. That's the most important thing about this one, is that we only support Java application right now. So using this stack, your Java application can be packaged into 3 different ways. The first one you can use as a source code. This is the most valuable use case, which is today I'm going to focus only this one because it can be used as a GitHub repo and mirror into the OCI DevOps. And then the stack create a build pipeline that build the container images from your application using the build instruction. For example, if you provide Maven install, and then the container image uses the JDK 17 to run your application, and it will automatically deploys the new version of the Git branch that you selected during the configuration. So this is the first way we are going to demo today. And the second one is you can use the Java artifact, which is if you already have a jar or WAR file, you can use that one. So the stack configured the JDBC data source for the selected databases and create the build pipeline that builds and contain images through the application and execute your jar file. This is also we use JDK 17 and it deploying the WAR file in Tomcat 9. And also it automatically deploys the new version of the artifact. And the third way is you can use the container image that your application is already packaged into the container image and publish into the container registry. So why do we need OCI container instances? So first of all, we only focus on the apps, not the infrastructure. So instantly launch a containerized app without managing the server. So in this case, specifically, you can specify the computer shapes, and even you can allocate the CPU or memory in a single container to support demanding apps. And also it reduces the cost. It benefits from simple pricing with no additional charges for the serverless experience. With that, at least you can get 3x cost performance and compared to the other providers. And also it improves the security. So the containers run in an optimized environment with strong isolation. So you can think about same as virtual machines. So because of that, I mean, like with this OCI container instances, you don't want to deal with installing, provisioning, or managing infrastructure. So you just need to simply run the Terraform script or the services automatically build the run your application into the optimized way in a container. So when we consider about serverless experience, so it's a serverless compute. So the OCI container instances run your containers in the serverless compute optimized container workloads. So this underlying infrastructure is fully managed by Oracle. So you only focus on your building your application without worrying about installing, patching, or managing servers. So it has like a simple pay per use pricing where you can only pay for the CPU memory resources allocated to a computer containing instances at the same price that your regular computer instance for the chosen shape. So there is no additional charges or taxes for seamless application provided by the serverless platform. And also it's simple and fast, flexible, where you can easily run with the flexible configuration. So when you're running a new container with one or more containers require more simple few parameters. Either you can run it from the command line interface like a CLI or from the API, or either you can directly use with the OCI console. So as you can also maximize the CPU and memory as well. You also can allocate the CPU and memory, which is provided by underlying computer shapes. And then you can run even more demanding workloads as well. It also complies with the open containing issue, which OCI containing instances support the pulling contain images from the registries that are also compliant with the open containing initiative, including the Oracle container registry. Also, you can set up OCI container registry with private access and enable security scanning for all your container images. For security and networking and observability, which is I already mentioned about the strong isolation. So it provide like a very dedicated environment with the strong isolation. So same as VM, and also it's integrated in the network and access control. So each container instance is connected to a subnet in your VCN, virtual cloud network, so ensuring the secure communication. Optionally, you can assign public IP to a container instance if the containers need some kind of access publicly. Or you can use like a OCI identity or access management. You can configure policies to access the other services and from the container instances. And also for the logging and monitoring. So you can use the built-in logging. You can view it from the container instance. Within the container instance, you can click the logs in the OCI console and pull them from the API. So OCI container instances also provide the built-in metrics to monitor CPU or memory utilization and also the disk I/O and the networking receive and transmit byte as well. So when you move into the architecture diagram of the abstract for Java, it's mainly we use container instances, which is I already mentioned about how it's important. So when you include the how many deployments, either you can go with instance 1 to n, depends on the availability. And for the second important part is for DevOps, it's a Java application in OCI DevOps projects. So either you can mirror it to the existing GitHub repo, and then you can use that as the source controller. So this isn't required for the application provided by the container instances as well. So for the ADB, if you already have existing database, you can either use that one, or the stack may create a new one for you in a specific the stack configuration. For the vault, it's most important if you are trying to mirror your app through the DevOps projects. So it's used as an authentication token. You can either provided by or created by the stack. So the vault is necessary to store a token, and vault isn't required this application providing the container image. For APM, it's also provide for the observability, which is we call as application performance monitoring. And it's like an end-to-end visibility for diagnosis across your application. And Stack has a checkbox. Either you can try, you want to create the application performance monitoring as well. And also for the load balancer, we use for the scalability of the application. And also you can access your application. So this is the place we use for accessing your application. And also like an optional thing, either you can specify HTTP certificates. You need for the load balancer. If you are not specify any certificates, HTTP will be used as the IP address. So let's move into the demo. Okay, sure. So the first of all, what you need to do, like you need to find your app stack for Java, the stack. You can directly type in the marketplace image. Like here, you can see the abstract for Java. Whatever you need to click that abstract for Java, and here you can provide the versions. The main version which we have like a version 1.5, and you can select the compartment and launch the stack. So this is all the information you provided with the stack. So let me duplicate that. So for right now, for the demo, I already have this one is set up. So if I click this into developer services, and for the resource manager, that's a place we are going to run our Terraform script, which called the stacks. And I already configured here. So right now I destroyed all my resources, which if we want, like if I click edit the stack, you can get the same window which I showed. If I click next, here you can see all the configurations which you need to provide. So I will go one by one. Just for saving the time, I will go ahead and apply this Terraform script. So before that, if you want to, before the apply, you can do the plan, which you can just run the plan and see everything is working fine. And after that, you can directly click the apply. If you don't have any risk, if you don't see any kind of errors, you can directly run it to the apply. So here you can see the plan processes in progress. And if you go back, you can see all these logs. So plan is successful. Then you can go to down to the bottom and see all these infrastructure is going to build. So we have like 57 things are going to add. So once you have this plan is successful, you can go back to your stack detail and click apply. So this will take, for my experience, it took me like I'm creating all these database and contain instances and virtual cloud networks and everything. So it took me like 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the time. So what I'm trying to do right now, while this apply job is running, I'm trying to explain the abstract in detail. So if you go to the next, so this is the main page. You need to specify each of your configurations. So the first one you need to do like a select your compartment, which is I already selected as a compartment. And also you need to specify the domain, the availability domain, which create all these compute resources. And also you need to provide the application name, which I gave like a my to-do list. So what I was referring, one of the Oracle example code, which is this one, the Spring Boot application. This has like a very simple application, how you can test it. And so the number of deployments. So this is which I, during my presentation, I showed number of container instances, which is going to create. So I create only one container instances, depend on your workload. Either you can specify 2, 3, up to a number, depending on availability of your availability domain. So here we use the application source. In my presentation, I mentioned about you can package it up 3 different ways. So I use the source code way. Otherwise, you can select the image artifact from, if you are already using a jar or WAR file, you can directly use that one. But for the recommended way, we use the source code. So the source code, the main thing what you do, you need to mirror this repository into the Oracle DevOps. So that one you need to do, like if I go back to the Cloud Console, in the developer services, you can see the DevOps section. Here you can click projects and you can create a DevOps projects and you can give a name. And also when you're creating, you need to create a topic, which is we are using for creating and building pipelines. So which I already created this project. I will go inside the project. So when you're trying to mirror this repository into the OCI DevOps, we have a couple of things we need to make it done. The first one, we need to create a personal access token. So for that, if you are a GitHub user, you can go into your human icon, and for the settings, under developer settings, from the personal access tokens, you can generate a new token. So right now I create a one for this one, and I gave only the repository privileges. Either you can give like deployments and everything. Depend on your workload, you can give all these permissions as well. So once you have the personal access token, you need to go to the vault, and you can create a vault here and just select the compartment and give the name. Right now I already create one, and I'll go inside to the vault. And inside the vault, you need to create a master encryption key. So here, either you can use the HCM or software, and then you can specify the algorithm and the key shape, and you can create the key. Within that key, you need to give the secret. And for that secret, I specified my GitHub personal access token. For that, you can create a secret and give the name and the description. And you can give the name of the key, and you can use the manual secret generation. And from the plain text, you can give the GitHub personal access token, and then you can create. So I already created from that, and you can go back to the projects. From the projects, we need to mirror the GitHub project into the DevOps project. So for that, we can create the external connection. From that external connection, you can give a name and give a description. So if you already have like a GitHub, I used a GitHub. And if you have like a Bitbucket or Visual Builder Studio, GitLab, you can, or GitLab server or Bitbucket server, you can use that. So what I did, like I used the GitHub. So then I use my vault and the secret, which is I use as a personal access token for the GitHub. So once you create that, so you can go back to the repository and you can do the mirror repository. And from that, you can select the connection type, which I already provide the GitHub. And the scheduling I use as a default. If you want, you can make it as a custom as well. So right now it's 15 minutes synchronized with your GitHub, and you can make it as a mirror repository. So right now I already configured as here, where you can see my GitHub is already mirrored into my DevOps project. So if you can go back to my stack, so I need to give the OSID, which this here you can see the OSID. So you need to copy and paste here. And also you need to give the build branch. So my branch I use as a Spring abstract. So that's the one I need to give it as a branch, which I work on that. And also you need to provide the build command, which right now is a Java Spring Boot application. So I'm trying to do the Maven install. So that one I want to provide as like that. And also for the artifact path. So in the sample application, Spring Boot application, so we have like a POM file. So we need to give that jar file, the snapshot jar, which is you need to provide that path as a artifact path. For the stack authentication, which you need to do one of the authentication token. For that, you need to go here to my profile. And from there, you can create and generate the auth token. Once you generate the auth token, you can directly copy and paste into the stack. And you can provide the compartment, and we need to provide the vault and the secret keys, and you can provide it as like that. So if you are thinking like you want to have like application performance monitoring as well, you can create this one, we provide like a create all history domain. And for this application, I'm creating a new database. So that's why I gave a display name as my to-do list, and for the administrator password. So password must be comply with 12 to 30 characters and at least one uppercase and lowercase and one number. And you can specify the storage and the OCP current. And also you need to set the DB database environment variable as well according to the code. So here I use string underscore data source underscore URL. And these are kind of other parameters. If you are planning to give some kind of arguments, you can specify it here as well. So right now I'm not giving any kind of arguments. So I directly run from the GitHub from the DevOps pipeline. So here, when you're thinking about how we can test this application, first of all, you need to create your virtual cloud network. So right now, I'm trying to create a virtual cloud network because I'm trying to test it from the load balancer. So in that case, you need to open the load balancer port as well. And the most important thing is you need to provide the container instances, this is going to deploy. So right now because of the Phoenix, I use standard E4 Flex, and I've specified how much GB and the OCQ count. So once you finish everything is done, you can click next, and which I already did. So then still you can see like a apply is in progress. So if you go inside to the apply, you can see what kind of things are running right now. If you can scroll down to the bottom. So these all things are created right now. So if you can see like my database is created. So if I go back to so right now, I think it's running my pipeline and creating the Docker images. So which we can check with my project. If I go to my OCI DevOps projects, and for the build pipeline, it's already create the build from the Terraform. And you can see like it's in the progress. If I click the Terraform here, see, you can see what exactly is done. So right now it's pushing into the container registry. And also you can see all these things ran. So for example, we ran the Maven install, and all those things you can see it from here. So what are the steps, you can see it. So once you finish this one, the build process, it will go to the deployment pipeline. So right now it's not reached that point. So I can see what else we can see from the job. If I go back in progress, you can see. So you can see like it's creating the Docker image still. And here we can see my database is created. So if I go to, you can see my database is created. That's its running state. And if I go back to the networking, you can see my network is created. If I go to my artifacts is also created. And if I go back to the container instances, let's see if it is created. Yeah, it's in, I specify only one instance right now. So it's already a provision one instance. And from there, you can see like here you can see like all these logs are going to show it in these logs. And also my load balancer is also created. So right now my apply job is finished and it's successfully completed. If I go back to the bottom, you can see everything is, I have like all the logs, like, so my pipeline is already ran. And if you can go back to the deployment, you can see that my pipeline is also ran for the deployment as well. And from the place I can check my application, you need to go to the load balancer. So the networking, I have the load balancer. You can see like a load balancer is up and running right now. I think I just provide like a simple app. Yeah, you can see like my app is running. And also, if you want to check like what a kind of a logs, what you guys can see, like application logs, you can directly go into the container instance and you can see all these logs in real time. So that's pretty much it for my demo.
All right. So yeah, like Sasanka said, my name is Allison Visconti. I work on the Code Innovate team here with Sasanka. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to explain what our program is and how it can potentially help you. So jumping right into it. So Code Innovate program, we like to compare it to this master builder class at Legoland. So if you look at my slide here, we got a couple pictures here. This is actually my boss, Chip's kids at Legoland. And if anyone's ever been to this master builder class, you would know when you walk in, you're given a bag of disassembled Lego pieces. And when you go in there, there generally is a model, a Lego model that you're going to build. It's usually the front of the class. And I think in this case, there are these little penguins. So you get the disassembled Lego pieces, but you're not given any instructions on how to do it. You're not left floundering because you have a master builder, master Lego builder at the front of the class who is there to help guide and share best practices and help troubleshoot. But it's mostly you figuring it out and getting to the end goal, right? So that is similar to the Code Innovate program in that, well, the Legos, right? The disassembled Lego pieces would be some Oracle products like our VBCS or Integration Cloud and so on and so forth. And then the final product would be your use case. So like whatever business problem your company is trying to solve. And then instead of kids here, my boss's kids, it would be you and your team. And then the master builder in the front of the class would be our Code Innovate team. So what that means exactly, like what it is, Code Innovate is a 5-half day, so 4 hours a day, online event to jumpstart your cloud development. Essentially, we would be paired up, the Code Innovate team, with your team, and we would spend 4 hours a day for 5 days, consecutive days, working hand in hand, co-building to help solve your business problem and work out a minimal viable product. So the Code Innovate program is a great hands-on introduction to cloud services. Additionally, we'd be assigning engineers to work online with your team. It helps facilitate rapid knowledge sharing. And additionally, it leverages your own use cases. I know it's different than most workshops or labs in a sense that generally you're given a generic problem with some generic data set, right? Those are helpful, but we found that it's most beneficial and helps keep people's attention if we focus on what specifically you and your team and your company is trying to solve. Additionally, there is no cost if the minimum requirements are met. So the Code Innovate experience. Like I said, you would bring your own use cases. We work on your use cases instead of showing canned demos of our offerings. Again, that just resonates, I believe, with all of you. And at the end of the week, we'll have a minimal viable product. We really believe we try to follow the saying, like, you can lead, or you can give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man how to fish, he'll be able to eat for life. So we're really just trying to teach you how to eat, teach you how to use our products. So that's that rapid knowledge sharing piece. Additionally, what we mean by that is that you would be hands-on with the product, you would be hands-on in your own environment, your tenancy, sharing your screen, and our engineers would be looking over your shoulder, helping annotate and showing you exactly where to click, exactly what to do, and helping build that muscle memory. And lastly, you'll end the week with a first pass prototype. So it's not a full-on product. As we said, it's only 20 hours a day, but 20 hours a week, excuse me, but we'll definitely get you guys feet on the ground and hit the ground running. So requirements, I'll just hit through these quickly. If you have any questions, of course, you can contact us. We have our email at the very last, right here, the codeinnovate_US group at oracle.com. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. But minimum requirements, we just ask for 4 or more developers who are able to be hands-on for those 4 hours a day for 5 days. That's that 20-hour commitment. Additionally, we just need you to bring your own use case. And lastly, we just need a 3-week lead time. So that means from 3 weeks from you reaching out to us, we would need to help start planning for your event. But yeah, again, if you have any questions or if this seems interesting to you, please feel free to reach out to us at the email provided on the screen, the codeinnovate_US_group at oracle.com. Or please feel free to send your emails in the chat and we'll get back to you. Yeah, that is the Code Innovate program. And that's all I had. I appreciate your time today. And Nikki, I think this is back to you.
If you like today's session, we'd love to invite you to check out our upcoming event. We'll also love to hear your feedback and what topic you'd like us to cover in the future. As you leave the Zoom room, you'll find a quick survey waiting for you. Lastly, just a reminder, the session recording will be sent to you in the next couple of days. So with that, I'll go ahead and end today's session. Have a good day and hope to see you soon.